Pick it up again on talking about our platoon. I was in, again, Cap 243 when I was in the active field. And there was, each squad was assigned an area, and it wasn't a perfect rectangle or anything. It was more like a oblong circle of some kind. But it was a clique in north and south and east and west. And a clique is a distance on military maps and such of 1,000 meters in each direction. So if you were told to go 3 cliques that way, you were to go 3,000 feet. 1,000 feet for 1,000 meters. I'm sorry, 1,000 meters. Anyway, it's a good little distance. The other thing is that each squad then was also assigned a Navy corpsman, and he was he carried a 45. I don't know if he was supposed to or not, but he did, being a medical guy. And he carried his medical stuff, and he took care of us. Given us Halazon tablets for our we got our drinking water out of the river, and you had to put Halazon tablets in it to purify it, sort of, and our pills and things like this. Anyway, as in when you play golf and you finish a round of 18 holes, they generally refer to going to the 19th hole as the clubhouse and get a drink and things. Well, in our squad, he wasn't like part of our squad, he was attached to us. And there's 15 men in a squad, and so he'd be the 16th man, the 16th. So he was also, he wasn't referred to as doctor or anything like that. He was always referred to on the radio. I carried the radio as the 1-6, the 16th. And it was not just 6 or 1, it was, when you said 1-6, you knew you were talking about the corpsman. And that was his function, and he took really good care of us. We're always proud to have the Navy corpsman with us. At any rate, kind of lost my place. I got transferred out because of wearing glasses that they considered too thick. I couldn't see well without them at all, so I was transferred back to our CACO unit, and I worked in the armory, dispensing rifles and parts and repairing them and things like that. And I enjoyed that. That was a good job. Incidentally, I forget exactly when, but it was somewhere in 1st of February. We went on R&R for 1 week. My friend John Mitchell and myself, and met up with Sherry and what was John's wife's name?
Becky.
Huh?
Becky. Oh,
John Marilyn Mitchell, and met them. We went to Hawaii for a week and went to Pearl Harbor to the USS Arizona and such and all like that. Anyway, a week later we found ourselves back in the swamp, so to speak, and I rotated back home in first part of May. First week or so in May, went to Okinawa for a week to as they call it, a cool down, and retrieved our possessions and things. And I came back flew into Los Angeles, the Air Force Base near Los Angeles, on May 19th, 18th, 19th, something like that, of 71. At any rate, that very night, they had several hundred of us in an airplane hangar, and we were sitting on metal folding chairs, and such, and it was 7, 8 o'clock at night, and they ask anybody that has less than 6 months to do on their contract, on their enlistment, and if you want an immediate discharge, go over there, the other side of the room. And about half the room went over there. And the other of us sitting there, I was a 4-year man, so I still had 2 more years or so to go. And I thought, I should have signed up for 2. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't. With 2020 hindsight, these guys went from Vietnam to the streets of America in less than a week. And then you wonder why they got into trouble and drugs, and a good part of them. I think they should have cooled down for their last 3 or 4 months or whatever they had left, to get their head on straight. That's just my personal opinion. But I had 2 more years to go. So we came back. I got back flew into Love Field. Well, let me back up a little bit if you want to hear about this. They took us the next morning in a blue Air Force bus. I don't know if the school bus, and then they're painted blue in the U.S. Air Force. Anyway, but instead of taking us around to the main door of the airport, they took us kind of around to the side door. And there was a couple of MPs that's military police, on the bus with us. And we got around to the door where we were, to go in. And I was sitting kind of in the middle of the bus, and, and there was a group of maybe, I don't know, 20-ish or so, maybe 25 hippies, long-haired, scraggly looking, and oh my goodness, they were off to the left, and there was a group of Air Force guys on the right, and they stopped the bus, and they make you hop down a minute. They were here, and the military was here. It was like a gauntlet line, and the MP on the bus said, "Okay, if you want to make it home and everything will be fine. Do not do anything to these protesters." No, they had their signs and everything like that. And just go through the line, and once you're in the door, you're home free. And everybody's looking at me. We had no idea. And it was about maybe 4 or 5 feet between them, And he went down, and we just, went through it. And the military guys were standing there, at the ready if something happened. But the hippies and all were yelling and screaming, and about halfway down, one of them bent over and spit on my ribbons, my uniform. We were in dress uniform. I'll never forget it. And then we went on, got through that, and went inside, and there were some, guess what? VFW members there, older guys like I am now, and they gathered us up and such, and took us in and cleaned us up and everything, and I said, keep your temper. And then they said, the one guy had 2 of us, me and another guy. He says, "What you drinking?" And I said, "I didn't know I was drinking." So he brought us over. Now, I was 20? Yeah, I think I was 20 years old. I wasn't 21, I know that. And we went into the airport bar area, and they sat us down, and said, "Wait here." And okay. And he went and got 2 beers, and came back, put them on the table, and he said, "Enjoy." And he turned and walked off. And the reason he turned and walked off was so that he couldn't get accused of giving a minor alcohol. That was the thing with that. If he turned his back and we stole his beer, that was on us or something. There are people knew this. But I thought it was pretty cool. That's never happened to me before. So we guzzled it down, and then went and found our American Airlines is what I was on, and flew to DFW, not DFW, it wasn't built, Love Field, and arrived there, and Sherry and Mom met me there, and brought me home, and that was May 21st, 1971. Now the coincidental to that, this wasn't planned. We grew up friends. You might remember with the Andrews family, Johnny Andrews, Mimi Johnson, and there was this black family that we knew in Como. I don't know if you ever knew them, Johnny, but at any rate, Mom said, "Oh, and we got some news for you." Now Johnny Andrews had joined the Air Force a year before I joined the Marine Corps. Went to boot camp in San Antonio, and then ended up in Germany for his enlistment. Anyway, I don't exactly know, but he was killed in a traffic accident of some kind in Germany. On duty, off duty, I don't know. I just know that Mom said, and he was arriving at Love Field that same day also. And so, wow. Anyway, so we ended up going to his funeral 2 days later, and that funeral was at there's a funeral home now. This is 1971, so the black population wasn't particularly served very well by your mainline funeral homes. There was a black one that's still in operation today, by the way, at the corner of Rosedale and Interstate 35W, right up there. I forget the name of it, but it's right there. It's still there today. Let me get a drink. And we went there for the funeral service, and then went out to Skyline Cemetery, which is also still there, off of Highway 303, and you go east on 303 and pick up 1187 toward Mansfield. It's back down in there, and that's where the Andrews family and Mimi Johnson and Johnny and his mother, and they're all interred there in a family plot together there. So that was homecoming, and then a week or so later, on June 5th, that's when Sherry and I were married at what was the name of that? St. Paul's Catholic Church in River Oaks on June 5th.